Every year, a number that has grown into the hundreds of thousands, and by some estimates, millions of people from every corner of the globe make a monumental decision. They leave their homes, their communities, and everything they have ever known to begin a long and often dangerous journey toward the United States border. This is not a single, monolithic event, but a continuous, evolving flow of humanity. It's a global phenomenon, a tapestry woven from countless individual threads of hope, hardship, and resilience. The word home itself carries immense weight. For those who embark on this journey, it represents not just a physical place but a lifetime of memories, the comfort of family, the familiarity of language and culture. To leave it all behind is a choice born not of whim but of profound necessity. It is a testament to the powerful forces that can compel a person to step into the vast unknown, trading the certainty of their past for the mere possibility of a different future. The paths they take are as varied as their origins. For many, the journey is a grueling test of physical endurance, measured in thousands of footsteps. Some walk through dense, unforgiving jungles like the infamous Dariengap, a 100-kilometer stretch of roadless wilderness separating Colombia and Panama. Here, there are no official paths, only treacherous trails carved through mountains, swamps, and raging rivers. It is a lawless region, where the environment itself is a constant threat. Others traverse arid deserts, facing extreme temperatures and the risk of dehydration, walking for days or weeks under a relentless sun, with little more than the supplies they can carry on their backs. For another significant group, the journey is tied to the rumbling arteries of commerce. They cling to the tops and sides of freight trains, a practice most famously associated with the network in Mexico, known as La Bestia, or the Beast. This iron serpent winds its way north for thousands of kilometers, offering a faster, yet incredibly perilous alternative to walking. Riders are exposed to the elements, the risk of falling, and the threat of extortion or violence. Meanwhile, others take to the sea. From the shores of the Caribbean, many set sail across open oceans in overcrowded makeshift rafts and rickety boats, vulnerable to storms, engine failure, and the vast, indifferent expanse of the water. It is a gamble against the odds, a desperate voyage where the horizon holds both promise and peril. What drives this incredible movement of people? It's a story of survival, of courage, and very often of sheer desperation. The reasons are a complex web of push and pull factors. Some are fleeing conflict, political instability, or gang violence that has made their hometowns unlivable. Others are escaping economic collapse, where a lifetime of work can no longer provide for their family's basic needs. And increasingly, many are displaced by the slow, creeping devastation of climate change, droughts, floods, and hurricanes that have destroyed their livelihoods. These powerful forces push them away from home, while the pull of safety, stability, and opportunity in the United States fuels their forward momentum. This raises a fundamental and fascinating question. How exactly do they do it? How does a family from Venezuela navigate 6 different countries to reach the US border? How does a young man from Senegal or Afghanistan find his way from a transoceanic flight to a bus route in Central America? The logistics are staggering. Today we will answer that question. This is not just a story about people migrate, but a detailed exploration of. We will trace their routes, step by step, to build a comprehensive picture of this global journey. Our investigation will begin in the bustling departure hubs of South America, where thousands of journeys originate. From there we will venture into the heart of the Dariengap, uncovering the realities of crossing one of the world's most formidable migration corridors. We will follow the migrant trails north through Central America, examining the role of caravans in the intricate network of buses, smugglers, and shelters that facilitate movement. We will ride alongside, in spirit, those who braved the journey on La Bestia through Mexico. But the story doesn't end there. We will also cast our gaze across the Caribbean Sea, charting the maritime routes taken by people from Haiti, Cuba, and other island nations, often using the Dominican Republic as a stepping stone. We will look to the skies, revealing the hidden first leg of many journeys, the transoceanic routes. We'll explore how migrants from Africa, Asia, and the Middle East use commercial flights to land in countries with lenient visa policies in South or Central America, like Brazil or Ecuador, to begin their overland trek north. This is a crucial, often overlooked part of the global migration puzzle. Finally, we will arrive at the last and perhaps most challenging leg of the journey, the US border itself. We will explore the treacherous desert landscapes and the powerful currents of the Rio Grande. We will uncover hidden facts about the journey's true costs, both financial and human, and examine the complex systems, legal, humanitarian, and enforcement, that await those who arrive. Throughout this documentary, we will separate myth from reality, providing a clear, fact-based understanding of a topic often clouded by misinformation. We will reveal just how far people are willing to go, the incredible ingenuity they employ, and the profound risks they endure for a chance at a new life. Join us as we map the modern exodus. Before we follow their routes, let's answer a key question. Why do people take such dangerous paths? Some are escaping war, like in Syria or Sudan. Others flee economic collapse, like in Venezuela. Natural disasters, like earthquakes in Haiti, force entire families to seek safety elsewhere. And many are chasing the dream of better jobs, education, or safety for their children. For many, the risk of staying home feels greater than the risk of leaving. For hundreds of thousands of people, the arduous journey north begins deep within South America, propelled by a complex web of factors, from economic collapse and political instability in Venezuela, to gang violence in Ecuador, to a search for safety and opportunity that transcends borders. Individuals and families make the momentous decision to leave everything they have ever known behind. Their first steps are often deceptively conventional. They travel by bus across vast distances, or sometimes on foot, following the veins of rural highways that crisscross the continent. These initial stages can take days or even weeks, a journey of endurance that slowly funnels them towards the northern coast of Colombia, to bustling, anxious port towns like Nicoclí and Turbo. Here, the pavement ends. And for everyone who arrives, the same monumental, terrifying obstacle looms, the Dariengap. The Pan-American Highway is a marvel of engineering, a network of roads stretching nearly 30,000 miles from the Arctic north of Alaska to the southern tip of Argentina. But it is famously incomplete. Right here, between Panama and Colombia, lies the only break in its entire length. This is the Dariengap, a formidable 66-mile expanse of dense mountainous rainforest and sprawling swampland. For decades, a combination of insurmountable environmental challenges, prohibitive costs, and a desire to protect the region's unique biodiversity, as well as to prevent the spread of agricultural diseases, has left this section untamed and roadless. What was once a barrier respected by engineers has now become, out of sheer necessity, one of the most dangerous and frequented irregular migration corridors on the planet. The real challenge for those heading north doesn't just begin here, it is redefined here. In the staging towns on the Colombian coast, a tense and sprawling informal economy has emerged. Thousands of people wait, their faces a mixture of hope and trepidation. Street vendors sell rubber boots, waterproof phone bags, small tents, and high-energy foods, the essential yet meager provisions for the ordeal ahead. Here, migrants must make impossible choices about what to carry. A family photo, a child's favorite toy, or an extra bottle of water. Every ounce matters when it will be carried on your back up steep, muddy inclines. This is also where they must navigate the first, and perhaps most organized, human threat. The crossing is controlled by criminal syndicates, most notably the Gulf Clan, who charge a hefty fee for permission to enter the jungle and for the services of a guide or coyote. The price can range from several hundred to thousands of dollars per person, a fortune for many, often paid by relatives abroad or through life savings. It is a perilous transaction, the first of many life-or-death gambles. Once the fee is paid and they board the small boats that ferry them across the Gulf of Urabá to the jungle's edge, the natural world becomes their primary adversary. This 66-mile jungle is one of the most treacherous environments imaginable. The terrain is a relentless series of steep mountains and deep swampy valleys. The paths, carved by the passage of thousands, are often little more than channels of deep, slippery mud. Climbs like the infamous Loma de la Muerte, or Hill of Death, can take hours, leaving even the fittest individuals gasping for breath and physically broken. Then there are the rivers. Dozens of them cut through the jungle, and they are unpredictable and powerful. A sudden downpour miles upstream can cause a flash flood, turning a knee-deep crossing into a raging torrent capable of sweeping people away without warning. Drowning is a constant and lethal risk. Beyond the terrain, the jungle is alive with dangers. It is home to jaguars and pumas, though attacks on humans are rare. The more immediate threat comes from what is underfoot and in the air. The region is infamous for its venomous snakes, including the highly aggressive and deadly fer de lance. Swarms of insects are a constant torment, and mosquitoes carry diseases like malaria, dengue fever, and yellow fever. With no access to clean water, many are forced to drink from contaminated streams, leading to severe gastrointestinal illnesses like cholera and giardia, which can quickly lead to life-threatening dehydration. But the most pervasive human danger comes from other people. While the main criminal groups control the entry points, the deeper, more lawless parts of the jungle are prowled by bandits who prey on vulnerable migrants. Robbery, extortion, and brutal violence are tragically common. Those who are injured, fall ill, or are separated from their group are at the highest risk. The path is littered with the ghosts of these encounters, abandoned backpacks, torn clothing, and in the most heartbreaking instances, makeshift graves marked by a simple cross of sticks. The journey on foot is supposed to take between 7 and 10 days, but this is an optimistic estimate. For those who are injured, for families with small children, or when the weather turns, the trek can stretch into weeks. Each day is a battle for survival, a cycle of waking up damp, forcing down a meager ration of food, and pushing onward through the suffocating humidity and mud. The psychological toll is immense, a constant state of fear, uncertainty, and grief. Many who make this journey are families. Parents carry their children on their backs and in their arms, shielding them as best they can from the horrors of the trail. They tell them it's an adventure, a long walk in the park, a story to mask a reality no child should ever witness. Sometimes, they are forced to bury their own loved ones along the way, a private, silent moment of grief before being forced to move on, lest they suffer the same fate. Despite these unimaginable dangers, the number of people crossing the Dariengap has surged to unprecedented levels. In 2023 alone, more than 500,000 people made the crossing, a record-breaking number that more than doubled the figure from the previous year. The demographics of those crossing have also shifted dramatically. While it was once a route used primarily by single men from Cuba or Haiti, it is now dominated by families, with children accounting for roughly 1/5 of all migrants. The majority are from Venezuela, but they are joined by a growing number of Ecuadorians, Haitians, and even extracontinental migrants from as far away as China, India, and Afghanistan. The Dariengap has become a global crossroads of desperation. For those who survive, the moment they emerge from the jungle into Panamanian territory is one of profound relief, immediately followed by collapse. They arrive at reception centers, like the ones in Lajas Blancas, in a state of utter exhaustion, malnourished, dehydrated, and often suffering from severe foot injuries, infections, and psychological trauma. Here, humanitarian organizations like Doctors Without Borders, UNICEF, and the International Red Cross provide critical, life-saving assistance, medical care, food, clean water, and a safe space to rest. But this is not the end of the road, it is merely the end of one chapter. After a brief recovery, they are registered by Panamanian authorities and placed on buses that will take them across the country to the border with Costa Rica. The jungle is behind them, but the long road north through Central America has just begun. Once migrants emerge from the Dariengap, they enter Central America, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Guatemala. Here the journey continues mostly on buses or by foot. Migrants often join caravans, massive groups of thousands walking together. Why? Because traveling in groups offers some protection from crime and lowers costs. But these caravans also attract media attention and stricter border controls. Countries along the way may set up checkpoints or deport migrants back south, yet the caravans keep forming, a symbol of resilience and solidarity. Once in Mexico, migrants still face over 1,000 miles to reach the U.S. border. Many rely on a notorious method, riding freight trains known as La Bestia, the Beast. Here's why it's so infamous. Migrants climb on top of moving trains. Falls are common, and thousands have lost limbs or lives. It's exposed, rain, sun, and freezing nights. Gangs often board the trains demanding payment or robbing riders. Despite this, trains remain one of the fastest ways north. Those who can afford it take buses, but many still walk hundreds of miles, sleeping under bridges or in temporary shelters. Migrants from the Caribbean, especially Haiti and Cuba, often take to the sea. Many use small, overcrowded boats or makeshift rafts, risking storms, dehydration, and capsizing. Some attempt to land in Florida, while others sail to Central America and then continue north. Fun fact: some migrants even use the Dominican Republic as a stepping stone, flying out to South America before beginning the long overland trek. Not all migrants start close to the U.S. border. People from Africa, Asia, and the Middle East often begin their journey with an airplane ticket. Many fly into countries like Brazil, Ecuador, or Nicaragua, where visa requirements are less strict. From there, they join the same path through the Dariengap in Mexico. Migrants from places like Senegal, Bangladesh, and India have been recorded taking this route. Think about it. Flying halfway across the world only to face the same jungle, deserts, and freight trains as everyone else. After a journey that has already spanned thousands of miles and countless dangers, migrants finally reach the U.S. border. This sprawling, nearly 2,000-mile line separates not just two countries, but for many, a past they are fleeing from, and a future they are desperately seeking. But arriving here is not the end of the ordeal. In many ways, the last leg of the journey is the most perilous of all. For decades, increased enforcement in urban areas like San Diego and El Paso has had an unintended consequence. It funnels migration into the continent's most hostile and remote wilderness. Here, the primary obstacles are not man-made, but natural. The final stretch becomes a brutal test of human endurance against the raw power of the environment. Many routes lead directly into vast, unforgiving deserts. The most notorious of these is the Sonoran Desert in Arizona, a landscape of stark beauty and extreme danger. During the day, temperatures can soar past 115 degrees Fahrenheit or 46 degrees Celsius, with the sun reflecting off the sand and rock, creating oven-like conditions. Dehydration and heatstroke can set in with terrifying speed, yet the danger doesn't end when the sun goes down. Nightfall brings a drastic temperature drop, and unprepared individuals can quickly succumb to hypothermia. The terrain itself is a constant threat, a maze of rocky canyons, thorny vegetation, and loose gravel where a twisted ankle can become a death sentence. The desert is also home to venomous rattlesnakes and scorpions, adding another layer of risk to every step. Hundreds of people die in this region every year, their journeys ending silently under the immense desert sky. For those whose path lies further east, the Great Barrier is not land, but water. The Rio Grande, known in Mexico as the Rio Bravo, carves over 1,200 miles of the border. Its name, the Brave River, hints at its formidable nature. While it can appear deceptively calm in some stretches, the river is notoriously unpredictable. Its width and depth fluctuate dramatically with the seasons and upstream dam releases. Powerful, unseen undertows can easily pull even strong swimmers beneath the surface. People attempt the crossing on makeshift rafts, inflatable tubes, or by wading through the water, often carrying what little they have left. Every year the river claims lives, its currents a final tragic obstacle for those who have already overcome so much. Faced with such overwhelming natural dangers, many feel they have no choice but to hire a guide, known colloquially as a coyote. These smugglers promise a safe and successful crossing, but this promise comes at an exorbitant price. The cost can range from a few thousand to over $15,000 per person, a fortune often scraped together by entire families. However, paying the fee is no guarantee of safety. The smuggling industry is deeply intertwined with powerful and violent criminal organizations. Migrants are often treated as cargo, their lives valued only by the money they represent. Coyotes frequently misrepresent the journey's difficulty, and abandonment is common. If a route becomes too risky, or if a person is too slow, they can be left behind in the middle of the desert or at the river's edge with no food, water, or sense of direction. Extortion, robbery, and assault are constant threats throughout this process. In areas where the border is more fortified, the challenge shifts from natural to man-made. People attempt to cross into major border states like Texas, Arizona, and California, each presenting unique obstacles. They face imposing border fences and walls, some towering over 30 feet high. Climbing these structures is incredibly dangerous, often leading to severe injuries from falls. Others try to go under the border, crawling through narrow, dark drainage tunnels. These spaces are not only claustrophobic but also carry the risk of flash floods, which can fill a tunnel with rushing water in minutes, leaving no chance for escape. The very infrastructure designed to stop them becomes another life-threatening hazard. Amidst these perilous options, there is another path, one that operates within the framework of the law. Many individuals and families make the deliberate choice to surrender to U.S. Border Patrol agents immediately after crossing, or to present themselves at an official port of entry. Their goal is not to evade authorities, but to encounter them in order to formally request asylum. This initiates a complex legal process, beginning with a credible fear interview to determine if their case has merit. While this is the designated legal pathway for seeking protection, it is fraught with its own challenges, including immense backlogs, long periods in detention centers, and navigating a complicated legal system where success is far from guaranteed. For some, technology offers a new, though limited avenue, with apps like CBP One used to schedule appointments at ports of entry, a process that can itself take months. Whether crossing deserts, rivers, or fences, whether alone or with a guide, every method comes with enormous life-altering risks. It is a testament to the severity of the conditions they are fleeing, the violence, the poverty, the political instability, that millions are willing to face this final brutal gauntlet. For every person who makes it, many others are turned back, are lost, or perish along the way. The final stretch of this epic journey is a landscape of profound desperation, but it is also one of incredible resilience, fueled by the slimmest chance of success, the universal human hope for safety and a new beginning. Here are some lesser-known facts about migration routes. Some migrants spend over $10,000 in smuggling fees. Others walk more than 3,000 miles, the equivalent of walking from New York to Los Angeles and back. Children as young as 5 have crossed the Dariengap. Migrants from over 150 countries were recorded arriving at the US border in recent years. It's not just a Latin American story, it's a global one. So now you know, the journey to the US border isn't one path but many. Through jungles, deserts, seas and skies, people travel across continents driven by desperation and hope. It's a human story of resilience, sacrifice and survival. If you found this video eye-opening, be sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss more fascinating facts about our world.